Hey, so you know how the coronavirus is still a thing, right?
Okay.
As we make it, as we stated in nearly every episode that we record of this shit, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. So because of I started listening to the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Because I love me some podcasts, right?
Uh-huh.
I've been listening to a lot of true crime podcasts, right? Where they talk about crimes, and because of that, I started going through a conspiracy phase now. All right, I've been doing my own research on true crimes, right? Right? I think I discovered something, okay? The smoking gun, as they would call it, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so here is the true crime I'm gonna present you.
Okay.
Who do we think really killed Hitler?
Hitler, right?
I don't think so. I think that's what if there was a second shooter, okay?
Wait, no, did he die by shot? I thought it was by poison.
That's what they want you to think. What if it was all conspiracy?
No.
Okay?
No.
How are we sure who really killed Hitler was the person that killed Hitler? And it wasn't a second person that killed Hitler.
Alright, okay, so, I mean, if we're gonna go by the fact that, like, Hitler didn't kill himself, then who is it then?
Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth, alright?
Wait,
I think was the person that killed Hitler.
What the fuck is that kind of... No! You just combined the names of two of the most, like, infamous assassins ever in U.S. history.
Who you're talking about. Not according to this board I'm looking at with all the red lines and newspaper clippings I have everywhere. Alright?
Yeah, sure. It's not like you just you didn't combine Lee Harvey Oswald and John
I don't know who any of those. I don't know who any of those people. I think there was a second shooter and they're hiding it from us. Okay.
Okay, sure. And it's who is it? What was the name again? Well,
Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth. All right.
Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth.
That's right.
No, okay, fine. Well, tell me, how did he do it? How was he able to get to this point?
They never discovered the second guy.
What?
All right.
What? Then how do you know there was a second person? How do you know this person was even existing?
If you look at the documents, there was another person in the room. Okay.
Yeah, and they all died.
I think they killed Hitler because Hitler knew something. All right.
Yeah, like he knew that they were gonna lose the war.
I don't think so. Good thing you brought the war, because that's where my next trail conspiracy leads. I think they killed Hitler because he was trying to start a war.
He already started a war. What do you mean?
Not according to the that timeline doesn't make any sense. All right.
Hello?
I think Hitler was killed because he knew something that could have started a war. Okay.
Sure.
Right. Big pharmacy. I also have circle in red and arrows pointed to it on this board.
Are you telling me Big Pharma is the reason why we have Hitler died? It's
That's right. I think Big Pharmacy hired Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth to kill Hitler to prevent him from starting a war.
But the war was already a thing. You can't start you can stop what's been started.
I think he was trying to start another war.
He wasn't going to...
Within the war. I think the second war was just a cover-up for the real war he was trying to start.
He already had a war on two fronts. He already had enough wars.
No, William. That's how they get you. That's what the history books tell you. You're not looking at from under. That's what on the surface level. You're not looking below the surface level, alright?
Yeah.
Like the literal below the surface. Like the underground war Hitler was trying to start.
The underground... Okay. What was this war, would you propose?
I think he was trying to start a war with the underground society.
What, mole people?
No, not mole people. That'd be really fucking stupid. Those don't exist, alright?
Oh, okay, so then...
With the burrowers is what I have.
The burrowers?
I underline with a red pen.
The fuck is burrowers? What the fuck is that shit? What is that?
Look, they're small, short people with claws and buck tooth, but they're not mold, alright? They look like mold, but they're not mold, alright?
So wait.
Completely separate beings.
Are you telling me that he was gonna go to a war with mole rats instead? Is
No, not molds, alright? Stop saying molds.
Oh, okay.
Alright, it wasn't mole people, okay?
Okay, how about...
It was the burrowers.
Okay, so naked mole rats. That's what I'm...
Sure, that works too.
That works too.
Right?
So, it still has moles, in the name! You know that!
Yeah, but they weren't actual mole people, alright?
Okay, fine, sure...
Right, I think. Right, so if you look at this conspiracy wall I have up right here, all right, Here's Hitler, okay? I put him in a big black Sharpie pen circle, alright?
I don't see it, but yeah, we'll pretend I do.
Alright?
Yeah.
Look, this line represents the Louisiana Purchase, alright? I think he was trying to start the war. Alright? So he could buy the Louisiana Purchase.
Oh, he can't do that. It's so far. He's so far ahead of the timeline. It's not possible. How?
No.
How?
Once again, you're misinterpreting. You're looking at this from the surface level, okay? You're not looking at this below the surface level.
Are you telling me that if you go below the ground, below in however far deep you need to go, that basically reverses time? It is a reverse timeline.
No. There is a secret underground society of people with short, stubby claws and buck teeth that are not moles, okay? That owns Louisiana, and he was trying to start a war within the war that was existing, so he could buy it and own Louisiana.
He can't do that though. How is he?
I don't know. Not according to this conspiracy wall I have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your conspiracy's wrong.
I have photo negatives. I have photos in black and white.
Photo negatives of what? Of what? Tell me right now. Of what? Where are these photo negatives? Where do you take them? How'd you get them? How do you even begin this shit in the first place? Huh? How?
Look, I think this is the truth. I think this is what Big Pharma is trying to hide from people.
Big Pharma has nothing to do with it.
No, you don't understand, William. If you look at the board, it shows
I don't see a board. The board is bullshit. No, I can't take this. I'm fucking losing my mind. I'm fucking dying. I'm gonna go back in time, meet up with Hitler, ask him to give me a pill and die with him. All right? At least we'll both.
You go back in time. You can figure out who the second shooter was.
No, you know what?
You can start Lee Harvey.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, Austin. I'm gonna adopt the name. Okay, of Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth. Take a gun with me.
Hold on.
Shoot Hitler.
This makes way more sense
myself.
now. Oh my God! If you look at the photo, Lee Harvey's disappeared after the shot. William, are you Lee Harvey?
What are you talking?
Lee Harvey?
Welcome to the fucking spoilercast for the headhunter. Oh my God!
By Big Pharma.
Welcome
to
the spoiler cast for Headhunter, the whatever you call it movie. I don't know who it's an American fantasy horror film with a Norwegian actor. We're fucking talking about this now. We're moving away from this goddamn topic. Oh my God, I can't.
Hey, welcome to the last week of Spooky Toberween Fest.
I'm so glad this is the end. So I don't have to deal with this conspiracy
bullshit anymore. Boy, what a great month this was for us, covering all these great Halloween horror movies, right?
You mean the one Halloween horror themed movie?
Well, what do you mean? We covered 3 of them.
Oh, yeah, sure. Would you like to go over what we were watching just so we can refresh ourselves?
No, we can. Not when these updates are incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible, huh? Oh my God. Okay. So anyway,
yeah.
I guess.
Well, what a great month this was for Spooky Weentoberfest.
I want an end, Austin. End me.
Yeah. We covered some great movies.
End me. Yeah, sure.
Hey, Halloween Spookfest is almost over, so it's about to be the end, alright? Of the spookiest time of the year for us.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, yeah, we've had some movies to review. They weren't so bad for the most part. But now we have one that's actually
if anything, I think the movies we review this year are all bangers, alright?
Yeah, for the most part, right? I'm trying to remember what we reviewed. We reviewed fucking Monster Calls. What was the other one that we reviewed? I honestly forgot. Green Knight.
The Void.
The Void. Yeah, that's also really good. Yeah, I mean, they were mostly pretty good movies. And then we got this one. I won't say it's like the best movie out of the bunch, but it is pretty good by the end of it. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess before we really get into the film, I should, as per usual, read to you, the audience, the Wikipedia article for the movie The Headhunter, the 2018 film. That it's
Relatively
pretty decent.
short, it's pretty short. Because like always, being the professionals we are, we did not research any of this before going on. That's like how we thought 3 out of 4 movies this year was fantasy horror.
All right. Well, next time I'm picking the movies. Okay, but. Yeah, but at least this one we did actually land on something that's pretty much horror themed. So, anyway, before we continue, I'm gonna stop the chit chat for now and get into the Wikipedia article right about now. So, in the Dark Ages, after losing his daughter, a fierce warrior known simply as the Father begins amassing a gruesome collection of heads of monsters he stakes to the wall of his cabin. The Father lives alone in solitude. His only company is his horse. And I don't know how to pronounce it for the life of me. I'm going to say Jack, just only because it's simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Most of his time is spent repairing his armor, setting traps for animals, visiting his daughter's grave, and using the blood and organs of monsters to create a healing potion that heals wounds almost instantly. The Father earns his living as a bounty hunter by hunting down the beasts that terrorize a nearby kingdom. Each time the kingdom has a new bounty for the Father to fulfill, the horror from the nearby castle blows, and a new bounty is pinned to a large tree just outside the castle walls. Throughout, he is shown taking the bounty, leaving to hunt down his target, then returning with the target's head, which he pins to his wall. Many of these hunts leave the Father wounded and maimed, forcing him to use the elixir to heal himself. During one such hunt, he returns on foot after Jack is killed. Soon after making a grave for his companion and visiting his daughter's grave, another bounty is posted. Much to his surprise, it is revealed to be the creature responsible for his daughter's death. So, traveling far north to an island, he finds the monster in a cave. After a hard battle, he finally decapitates the monster and travels home to pay respects to his daughter. His victory is short-lived as one of his jars containing the elixir he left near his window is knocked over and spills over the creature's decapitated head, bringing it back to life. Discovering what transpired, the Father prepares to hunt down the revived creature as it searches for a new body. As nightfall arrives, the Father begins a game of wits against the creature, with it digging up the daughter's grave and attaching its head to her corpse. Following it to a small cave, the Father is attacked by the creature as it tries to attach itself to the Father's body to replace the one he removed it from. After a vicious fight with the creature, the Father emerges seemingly victorious after severing its head from his daughter's corpse and stabbing it repeatedly in the head. Reburying his daughter the next morning, the Father, relieved that the hunt is over, returns home. Cleaning up some of the mess from the previous night, he leaves the cabin to begin repairs on his armor. While doing so, he suddenly cries out in shock and pain before going silent. A short time passes and he appears to return to the cabin, carrying what appears to be a severed head, which is then pinned onto the wall. The Father's severed head is then revealed to be the one that was pinned to the wall, and the creature, its head now attached to the Father's body, leaves taking one of the jars of elixir along with it, gloating as it walks away, saying, "Body mine." And that's the end of the synopsis.
Very simplistic movie. This
really
movie could have gone on for way longer, right?
I mean, it could have, but the thing is, like, it
really
doesn't
gets to
need
the point.
It doesn't really need to explore a whole lot. I think it sort of, right? Because
without it being superficial fluff.
Yeah, the thing is, if we look at the budget on the Wikipedia, to my understanding, like, it says it has a budget of like $30,000, right? Which is pretty impressive for what they do here, you know. But also explains a few bits of things when you watch it and why it doesn't. It might not mesh well with some of you. Because this is very much at this point like an indie film.
Yeah.
And so we're focused on the one actor, and basically we have like maybe we have, I guess, 2 to 3 settings, I guess, if we're gonna really look at it like that. We have the woods and we have the cabin, the woods that surround the cabins. And then we also have a castle, but the castle's not really explored. Really, it's really just there to
it's just
explain.
there. It just exists, right?
Yeah,
It's just a background set piece. Was the castle real? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure the castle. Well, if you're talking about like,
was it CG, William? We don't know.
If we're talking about that, then yeah, I wouldn't know. But it's it is just a set piece to kind of explain kind of like why he does what he does and how he earns his income and shit like that, right? But this is more like a look into like we've seen like fantasy shit before, right? But it's kind of but this is more like how would a character react to the fantastical elements that surround him, right?
Yeah.
And which we do get hints of, like when he's like, he sits like, there's a scene where he's sitting next to a corpse when he's going on the hunt for the creature that killed his daughter, and he's having a talk with the corpse. He's like, oh, what got you? Was it a troll? Nah, they don't come up this far north, right? And then you get a scene and you see a troll that's just kind of basically walking by, like, huh, maybe it was a troll, and he kind of, you see him react to his environment, right?
Yeah.
And it's also like, you also see him like kind of he very minimally interacts with like his surroundings, like with the castle and everything, and it's like at most he only really interacts with a person that basically sends him the bounties, and that's about it.
Yeah, but even then, he barely interacts with the person that he doesn't even interact with. It's just a fucking arrow that shows up, like, yo, what's up? Here's an arrow. Here's an arrow on a fucking tree. All right, there you go. Bye.
And most of the time, as it is in the film, he does just spend his time making armor, setting up traps for animals for food, visiting his daughter's grave, and occasionally pissing out the elixir that he drank, which is apparently very horrible. It's a horrible experience for him. But yeah, it's just basically like he lives in a fantastical world, and it shows how he interacts with
Hey, here's a life elixir that exists.
Yeah, which is. Sorry, I had to take a drink, but.
Yeah, pretty insane world building right there. I'm not gonna lie. Just straight up having this elixir, right? Is that right? Because it's not like a potion and stuff like Skyrim or like any of those other medieval fantasy RPGs, right? Where stuff like this we see would normally be just like, hey, yo, here's a potion or some shit. No, this guy just straight has a jar of this shit. Like, you're just wondering, what's with the shit, right?
I'm surprised he doesn't sell it like to a king and just live off rich, honestly. Yeah. But I guess it's more or less the reason because he's trying to avenge his daughter's death, and he's hoping that the monster will pop up again, which of course it eventually does. So like for the most part, it's like the 40 minutes of I think around 40 minutes of the movie is spent like just him it's spent world building, but it's very minimalistic world building,
exploring the environment.
Yeah, And we also we do get some establishments, like again with the heads and everything. We also do get some bits of foreshadowing. Like in the beginning of the film, there's this very annoying fucking window that keeps opening and closing, right? So I'm like, this is fucking annoying as shit. He has to fix that. It's gonna play in some way. And you see that there's a scene where he chains up the elixirs. So you kind of wonder at that too. And then there's you see how he how before every kill, before every monster that he's gonna kill, he basically sharpens it into what's the word, a spoke or a spike or something. I don't remember. I don't know. But anyway, he puts it on the wall, and then he'll put the head on there, and they do a bit of foreshadowing with this one when it's the monster that killed his daughter, that he cuts his hand on it, and it's his blood on the spike. So it's not exactly subtle foreshadowing if you just pay attention to it. But then so that happens. He goes to kill the monster. He puts the monster's head on a shelf or whatever, right? And then he puts the elixir by the window, and then it knocks the potion, and then basically revives the head because the potion fell on the head. So yeah, that's a bit of that's a moment of foreshadowing, right? And then it's right after he. So then we also get a bit of an explanation afterwards when he kind of goes back to the cabin and he finds the head gone. He sees the elixir, and so he's like, "Oh shit, what happened to the head?" And just to be sure, what he thinks is happened actually happened. Oh, also there's also another. Well, I'll explain that in a bit, but there is he takes a bit of the elixir. He finds a dead spider on the table. He pours it on the spider, and then he sees the spider move, and then he's like fuck, and then he just smacks.
Really weird that you would think that that would be like one of the first things they tell you. Hey, don't put revival elixir next to dead things.
Yeah, right. But then is apparently even after he smashed it, like the spider just basically ends up living again. There's also a bit of visual storytelling in terms of its foreshadowing too when when the father enters the cabin. They do this interesting blocking scene where it's just like he enters the room, right, and you see his body, but you don't see his head because the table's blocking his face away from the screen. Right? Yeah. So that's another bit of foreshadowing too to what his eventual fate would be, and I think that's kind of clever. You know, it's just like if you pay attention, you'll see it and you're like, okay, that's what they're going for. But if you don't really pay attention, you're like, oh fuck, they foreshadowed everything. You know, that kind of thing. But it's like it's very simplistic, but it's very fun to watch, right? Mm-hmm. And then of course comes, and then there's like. Literally, the rest of the movie becomes just a horror movie. It's fucking wild as shit. Because then,
that scene when the creature revives himself was fucking frightening as shit.
That depends. What do you mean?
I mean, well, it wasn't frightening like, ooh boy, I got real spooky, but Jesus Christ, that was a.
Do you mean the jump scare? Because like there is that moment where like for you the audience again, he spent some time looking around the cabin and then he kind of
not the jump scare when he's in the forest and you see the bones of the daughter just fucking coming back to life, right?
Oh my, yeah, that was fucking. That's like I felt really bad for him because that's his daughter's body, and
that was a really upselling scene just watching that shit happen.
Because the thing is, the monster is screaming as it's attaching itself to the fucking body, and it's just like it's like shaking. It's like it's in pain as it's trying to revive itself.
Right.
It is very
also
rough.
just. Yeah, one thing that also it poses a lot of questions, like how exactly does the monster... So I get that the monster comes back to life, right?
Yeah.
But how the fuck does it... Right? Does it just roll its head around, right?
It has a spine. I mean, assuming it's kind of pushing itself along the ground with the spine.
Yeah, but the father decapitated it, right? So it shouldn't have a spine?
No, it did have the spine, remember, that's how, like... Because the thing is, from what I'm understanding, it might be... Because the thing is, with the way how it looks... It seems like he cut the head deeply, but then it's like he kind of pulls out the rest of it like Predator style. If you remember, like the Predator, how he kind of just takes the skull out, but with the spine as well. That's what happened. Because the thing is, it's very clearly the spine, you know, or the neck, if anything, right? So that's kind of its thing. That's how it moved around. But I would imagine it would roll around if it had to, which would be pretty fun.
Roll like a fucking head, like a tumbleweed.
Yeah, it's just like fucking rolling around, just like with fucking dirt and grass in its goddamn mouth. Oh my god, it's not a good time to be a monster. But yeah, there was a jump scare, which was it didn't exactly get me, but
look. Was that one when he was in the cave?
No, the one before when he's exploring around the cabin. If you remember, he's walking around, and his cabin's right by a river. And so he walks out onto the balcony that leads into the river, and it jump scares you because remember they had that first person view of him, right, where we look through the father's helmet, right? Yeah. And so we're looking around. That's when the jump scare kind of happens when he walks out onto the balcony, right? And he's looking around and like, oh, I think I hear it, and he's like, oh, guess there was nothing. Then it happens, right? Which is, you know. Kind of unnerving because the thing is, if anything, like I know
what you're talking about. Yeah, that scene. Yeah,
it's like around 48 minutes. But yeah, I do not like the look of this monster, man. It fucking creeps me out.
Yeah, I'm really glad that the majority of this movie is kept in the dark, right?
Yeah,
it adds the element of horror, right? Better. Yeah. It makes the danger more heightened, right? Because it's night. The human's biggest weakness, the darkness. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But it definitely helps to like. It definitely adds to the suspense and everything because by this point we do kind of get the gist of the father's character, and you do kind of care because he cared for his daughter and everything. He's obviously very much tortured by it. But God, I will say though, Austin, and I'm stealing this joke from because the thing is I watched this with other people.
Okay.
And so so apparently as it's crawling around, it very occasionally just kind of moans out body. Mine or whatever the fuck, right? And it's just like Raph literally told me, as he was watching it, it's just like he's like I'm horny. It's like that's like it ruined everything else for me. It ruined everything else. I'm just like, why would you tell me this? Now every time it's saying something, that's literally what pops into my head, and it just kind of ruined the vibe for me. But Aside from that little joke, anyway, I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, he's walking around, and it's very great how they just like again, as you said before, they kept it in the dark, and they had these excellent shots like around like 49 minutes. You see a shot of him like with the torch, and everything around him is dark except for him and the torch, and it's just like it adds to a sense of just uncertainty and loneliness and danger.
Adds to the atmosphere of the world he's living. Because we know this is a spooky, scary medieval fantasy where there's monster, and I assume this is one of those worlds where hey, don't go traveling out at night, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those fantasy worlds, right, where you should not be traveling out at night.
Yeah, it's very much you go out at night, you might be done for unless you're like a professional killer or something.
Yeah, or you're going with like an army, like with a group of men or some shit, right?
Yeah, honestly, like if you don't travel in groups, you might be done. They really do have excellent shots. I like these shots where they did a close up on his eye, like around like 50 minutes, 30 seconds or whatever. They do these close ups, right, where it's just kind of like he's only lit by a torch. Everything is surrounded in the dark, and it's just his eye just looking around, just like where the fuck is it, right? Because he hears it and it's just fucking with him at this point.
Yeah.
And it's very great use of lighting. Is all I'm really saying. It's just the lack of lighting, using the shadows around it and everything, right? There also is another like nice bit of, I guess I don't know if I would call it foreshadowing, but they did show the bear trap, and it did get caught by the bear trap at one point, and then he starts like, okay, I know where it is. Time to go over there, that kind of thing, right?
Right.
So he basically follows that at that point. Yeah. And then I think he starts. I don't remember if he starts. He starts chasing after her. He's just running through the woods, and it's just like. And then he's like, he realizes what it's going after, and that's when we get to the scene when he finds out that it's going after his daughter's body or her remains, if anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
it is a very uncomfortable just seeing the skeleton move and shake and just like the monster just scream. It is not okay. Because, oh God, I don't, like, you have to see it, because it's just very unnerving. I don't know what else to say about that, right? And then we do get this, he's tracking it down, and then we get this fantastic, I love this shot, where it's just when he approaches the cave, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking cool as shit, where he approaches the cave, and it's just, he's walking towards, it's just like, it's unsettling as shit. And then he has to walk into the cave. And
it's a narrow space cave as well.
Oh, so yeah, it's just like,
so it's already high danger getting to this cave and everything.
Yeah, and it's just like it's claustrophobic as fuck, dude. It is so claustrophobic, and he's just crawling through it and everything. And this is when you also get
this is when you get his torch knocks. He drops the torch.
Yeah, he drops the torch.
So now it's even more danger because he's more in the darkness and the unknown. Right, that's when finally when the creature jumps out and gets him.
Yeah. But it's like, but before that, I really wanted to talk about that scene when he's trying to light another fire, and you get these I love the shots where he's just kind of trying to start another fire, and it's just like, with every flash, you see a little bit of something. It's like, oh fuck, I hate it so much, right? And then they have another shot where it's just like, like he hears like it's saying father, because it took over his daughter's body at this point. It's very much trying to get at him, and it's like. And he's looking down at the cave, and you don't see anything. But then it's like, it kind of just extends, and it's just very uncomfortable, because it's like, you don't, like, he has to go down that, and you don't see anything. And again, there's, like, there are great shots. I just love what they did with like, how you see his eye. And it's just kind of, it says a lot, just by him just looking down the cave, and, like, his eye, like, how it's lit up and everything. All I'm saying is, those cave shots are really good, right? And but then there is this one scene, and this is kind of where it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. Because the thing is, he looks behind him, and he's like, oh, I guess there was nothing. He's nothing there, but then he kind of looks back again just to be sure, and then he sees it. The scene is basically his daughter's body. It's like in the dark, is crawling on the walls, and it's just crawling towards it. It's the freakiest fucking shit, you know?
Right.
And then it jumps out in the dark at you, right? This is where it kind of lost the energy for me, if anything, because the thing is that this is where it's very and I can understand why it's a little hard to do, but this is very clearly when you watch this part, it's just basically the actor kind of just trying to pretend that he's having a fight with the creature, but it's very clear that he's just kind of messing with the puppet and acting like he's having in a fight with it.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. And I get what they're going for. I just don't think it works so well, if only because it's just like you really
because it was not an extreme because again you gotta go find it. This is a puppet. It's not like a full an actual good like a good CG effects. So he's doing one of those scenes where you have to fake fight with this inanimate object, right?
Yeah, I think that's more that's honestly probably like in terms of the puppetry as well. I think that's also kind of like. It's kind of like, and I can understand it, but this is kind of a failure in direction from the director, I think, in trying to like sell like the struggle of it, because it doesn't really feel like he struggles with it at all. He's just pretending to struggle. It's like that's all I just felt with it. But yeah, then he kind of finally quote unquote kills the thing, right? Where he just kind of stabs a whole fucking bunch of times.
Yeah.
And
stabs in the head.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, and he wins the battle. That scene didn't really work for me. Again, it's just like, and there is a limited budget and everything, and I can understand it, but it just didn't like. We had a whole bunch of build up to the horror and everything, but then once it's revealed and once the fight happens, it just kind of lost it. So that's kind of.
Is that exciting? Yeah, this ending fight with it isn't that entertaining, I guess. Is the way I want to put it, right?
Yeah.
Right, because I liked everything up, because we had this whole cat and mouse game going on, right, between the father and the creature, right? And I thought it was this movie, but the final fight wasn't that. We had due to the fact they're in a cave, and I guess as you said, it's probably due to budget, so where we could have like a really more stylized fighting, right? Something I would have liked is if the creature still had the daughter's body, right? And the creature, I don't know how sentient or intelligent, right? This creature was taunting the father throughout the entire time, right?
Yeah, basically.
Right, and the father has to struggle, like, I can't, like he wants to kill the creature, but at the same time he can't kill the creature, right? Because it's the body, because the creature's having the body of his daughter, right? I would have liked something like that, right?
Yeah.
Which again, I assume they could. I think that would be a way better plot point, but I assume again due to budgetary reasons, right? They couldn't go something that extreme, right?
Yeah, I mean, so they're only working like, and what they achieved here is actually rather phenomenal. But they only had $30,000, you know.
Yeah.
For a film, that's not a lot. But it's like then you get this fantastic bit where and also like it was this fantastic bit where he's finally killed the monster that killed his daughter, right? And you get this again, right? But you get this wonderful moment of catharsis where it's just like I should mention the scene beforehand. He does take an axe to the head of the monster again, right? Just to be sure. And you're like, okay, it's dead, right? But I noticed it. Raph didn't. But there was a very split second where after he chops the head, and they zoom in on it for a bit, right? But then it's just like it moves, but it's so slight, and it's just like it happens for a split second, and so that's So if you remember Spider,
they don't hold the frame. Yeah, the frame isn't held on.
Yeah, they don't
for as long.
They don't. They hold on to it, but right as it moves, they cut out, and that's,
as soon as it moves, it cuts away, right?
Yeah, which is really good in terms.
So
unless
you were Superman, it's literally a blink and you miss it moment.
Yeah, if you blinked, you would straight up not notice it. But this is just like a scene that I really appreciate because I think it's like it works so wonderfully. Because the thing is, there's this scene where he after he kills the monster, and he has his daughter's remains again, and he's burying it again, and it's like and they do a kind of parallel because in the beginning of the film you kind of see like they're out in the wilderness, him and his daughter, and she's resting and everything. He's protecting her, and then it's like. As he's burying his daughter's body, it's just like he's putting her to rest again, and at this point, it's kind of like he's at peace with himself. He's finally moved on from the traumatic event of his daughter dying and his failure to protect her, right?
Yeah.
And there's also this bit where and I forgot to mention it. There was an arrow, and I believe he said it was an arrow that what was it? An arrow that's for the dead or something? I don't quite recall how that works. I'm not gonna bother going.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna ask you about That arrow made no sense to me. I didn't understand the purpose of that arrow scene.
I think it's a funeral thing. And it's like where you're supposed to kind of make an arrowhead, and this is me. I have to rewatch it just to be certain, but we don't have the time for that. But like, I think it's like you shoot the arrow off and you kind of send the soul along with it, to kind of like it departs type of thing.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things I was confused about within the movie that I actually had to look up afterwards. And in one of the threads I read, it's like it was supposed to represent sending his daughter's soul off, right?
Yeah, and it's just like. But he never believed in that, and so the monster's still there. But like after he killed it and everything, then it's like, oh well, with this I said like I hope you find peace, and that because he found peace within himself by that point. It's a very wonderful scene, and I really like it. And the arrow basically goes all the way to like I don't know what it lands on. I think that's either the monster's body that he killed beforehand. I think that's what it is because it looked very fresh.
Yeah,
but then
that's why I was very confused by it. Yeah. That was the one that was confusing, right? Because he shot the arrow, then it just hits this random damn. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's like I'm confused by it as well. Part of me thinks it's pretty much the monster.
That's what a lot of people were saying when I was looking because I was very confused by the arrow scene, right? So I went online, I looked at other discussion, and people were saying that was probably what it was representing, if anything.
Yeah, but like. Part of me also kind of thinks that maybe, and this is a very small chance, but this is just kind of like a thought that kind of just popped up into my head. Maybe it was like where his daughter died, but I wouldn't think so really myself because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's pretty far away.
Yeah, and so but then we get to the ending scene, right? And this is like okay, so just to kind of give my thoughts on it real quick. I hated this scene. Not because it's bad, but because it made me feel really bad for the guy, you know? And I hated it. I don't wish he succeeded. But then but you know, it's a horror movie. We're not allowed happy endings.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It is hey wait, did it put you in a berserk fit of rage?
Oh my god.
Did it make your soul dark?
Oh my god, stop.
Was your blood burning afterwards?
No, stop. Okay, so what happens here?
Some would say you were Sekiro. Demons die twice.
I hate you. I hate you so much. But yeah, so then we get to see.
Look. Just put it all in your cup head, man.
Okay. Anyway, fuck you. Fucking. But then we get the scene. So the ending scene, right?
Yeah.
Where basically. Yeah. We hear the window.
Once again, we pan on this window because it turns out the real villain of the movie was just this window.
Honestly, yes. Because I swear to God, if he fixed that shit, none of this would have fucking happened, right? But like, so we get this nice shot where he like the window's opening and closing, and he's like, okay, well, I gotta make a new window, right? But then it closes, and then you hear like him struggling. He's like, oh, bleh, right? And then you basically
you hear something, right?
Right. You hear blood splatter and basically his death gurgle, right? And then you see his body walk off, but you don't. But the window closes, so you don't really see who it is. And it goes to the door. The camera pans over to the door, and then the door opens, but you don't see.
Yeah, you see a body walk in.
Yeah, right. And then this is again also like this is how the foreshadowing also is really fun to kind of notice because you don't see the head, and they block it off very purposefully, right? And he's walking into the cabin. And you're just kind of wondering. Then they do the whole table thing again, where they kind of just don't show the head, and then like as a callback to the scene that they did before, and then he puts a head on the spike, and it turns out to be the father's head, right?
Yeah.
So then you basically know what happens by this point, right? And then he takes the elixir. They don't show the above the head at this point either.
Yeah.
And it's just
that would have been too much work for them to do. All right.
Yeah, and then it's just walking off, and then it gets the elixir, and then it's just.
He's like, oh, I am back. Right. Soon, this will be a Metroid Dread. Yeah,
and then he walks.
And then the movie just straight up ends. But we find out the monster ends up getting him and everything. Right.
Yeah, the monster gets him, and it just.
Also, the fact that we don't even see the monster's face, and we just only see the back of it, makes it more scary. Like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's very sinister. Yeah, and then it just ends on a shot of like the headhunter, like the father's head, just on a spike. It's just there. And it sucks, man. Like, it's a horror movie, and they foreshadowed all of this shit. So like, I'm not saying it's bad, but I was I was so sad because we had like this whole cathartic moment with him, and then he dies, and it's just like, fuck me, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like for what we got, it's a very fun movie to watch. You know.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. Yeah, like I was saying, like you know, I made it sound like earlier I was complaining about the length of this movie. I was like, the length of this movie is actually perfectly fine, right? Right? Like,
yeah.
I watched it. I was like, wow, I was extremely satisfied with this movie in the end. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it did everything it set out to do. It foreshadowed all the events that was going to happen by the end of the movie.
Oh, there's a collector's edition of this Blu-ray.
Oh my god, of course there is. But it's not a bad watch, especially for an hour. It's like literally just an hour movie, but it's a very fun hour.
Yeah, for a short film, this was a very good short film.
Yeah, especially because the thing is, again, like I know some people might have an issue with it, but it is 40 minutes of build up of just some slight world building and just
of just learning his day. We pretty much just like that's the thing I realized. Like all this takes place within like a day or so, pretty much, right?
Well, sort of, because remember in the world building events, he is hunting like several monsters, so maybe like 3 or 4 nights. But the whole hunt with him and the other monster.
But once the hunt started, that
was
really like a 12-hour.
That was like
a whole overnight period.
Yeah, a day and a night, basically. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's really good. Like the last 20 minutes of the movie really makes the film for me, at least in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And I would say definitely go for a watch if you have the time.
Yeah. I definitely enjoy this movie. Like the set pieces of this movie are very good. Like this is a very good world that they built up and set up, right? Like it's right.
Yeah.
It's a quote unquote believable world that he exists in. You know, right?
Yeah.
That these characters exist in, right? You don't see a lot of characters, right? Which I personally was fine with because pretty much this guy's a loner character, right? So we don't need like some weird character surrogate to come in like, hey yo, what's up, Headhunter? It's me, the girl from Pulp Fiction. What are we doing today?
Oh my god! But yeah, it's very good. All I'm saying is like for a horror movie, that was pretty good. You won't get a lot of horror in 40 minutes, but that was all built up, and that was and you know the last 20.
It really just sets everything up for the ending.
Yeah, it's literally maybe just like the puppetry I do have an issue with, and there was the fight scene that happens in the cave that I do have an issue with, because for me it took the energy out of everything. But after, but the ending makes up for it definitely. But so yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I would give this a solid like 7.5, maybe 8, if only because again.
I give this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. This is definitely out of the movies we saw this month for Spooktoberfest, right? Right.
Yeah.
All right, it's probably my favorite one we saw this month.
Yeah, I would definitely. It's very good, especially because this is actually a horror movie. So you know, there you go.
Yeah, what do you mean? Well, you say the other 3 movies we saw this month, what for Fest Spookween wasn't horror movies?
We have to make up a name at this point, man. We just keep saying random fucking names. It's almost as bad as your Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth. It's almost as bad as that.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about, alright? Lee Harvey Wilkes Booth was a real person, alright?
Yeah, sure.
They're hiding it. Big Pharma is hiding it, alright?
Alright. Well, I mean, I guess that's it. I don't really have any other closing remarks.
No, I really don't have anything else to say. Like I said, this movie was really enjoyable. Let's say, once again, like how we always do whenever we pick these. We don't research or go, and we just go completely blind into it. And I'm really glad I went blind into this movie, right?
Yeah, honestly, because this is definitely something that, like, I mean, it should be done for most movies in general anyway. But going in blind really helped me to just, like, if you don't go in with any expectations, you'll be pleasantly surprised with this film. You know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, wait, look, another year, another Spookfest Ween went in by, right? Right, what a great year this was of us watching, of us unironically picking 3 fantasy horror movies and 1 sci-fi horror movie, right, by accident.
Yeah, honestly. But hey, it was real good.
Hey, stay tuned next year where we reviewed the Scary Godmother movie.
No, oh god, I swear to God, if we do that, I don't know how to feel about that. Actually, can we actually even find that anywhere?
I'm pretty sure you can find it anywhere. The full movie's on YouTube.
You know what?
The full movie.
Oh, is it? Oh, shit.
How many movies have they made of this thing, by the way?
They only made 2 for Scary Godmother.
Damn, why did they make 4? Like the Halloween Town franchise.
Okay.
Where's my 3rd and 4th Scary Godmother movie?
Yeah, but if we do that, one of the characters are just going to end up being a cuck fuck, you know? So...
What?
Look, that's what he is!
Wait, we're talking about Scary Godmother or Halloween
Town? In Halloween Town.
Oh.
Because you mentioned Halloween Town, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, look. Halloween Town is the only Disney TV movie that depicts a guy wanting to start a race war. All right.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, that was the whole thing too. Jesus.
That was a complete plot point we picked up on. All right. That's the movie. All right, good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, that's it. All right, coronavirus is something. Wash your hands, wear a mask, get your fucking shots. Okay, thanks. Bye.